Diddy and Cassie have already settled. Lord, that was fast. The music world, the entertainment world, everybody has been buzzing about the fact that Cassie and Diddy had this lawsuit, or really Cassie filed a lawsuit against Diddy, and the lawsuit alleged years of abuse, years of violence, years of control, years of all kinds of stuff that was, for a lot of people, unthinkable, unimaginable. Rape, physical abuse, etc. And in the kind of less than 2 days since the case came out, or since the lawsuit came out, other people have come forward. Aubrey from Danity Kane. Um, who else has come out? Kamora Lee Simmons has spoken out. They brought Kid Cudi into the mix. Lots of people, Azalea Banks came into the mix. Lots of people came into the mix to weigh in. And most people didn't weigh in favor of Diddy. Not one person stepped up and said, you know what, this doesn't sound like him. Not one person stood up and said, I don't think he did it. Now, I'm not making any judgments. I'm not making any allegations. That's not my job. That's not my business. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm simply saying that right now they have settled. And the question that a lot of people have is why? And oftentimes, in situations like this, people draw interpretations based on what they already think. So the people who think Cassie is lying and she's in it for the money and she's just hustling and she's just trying to drag Diddy's name through the mud say, why would she settle right now if she was telling the truth, and if she had a mission to be courageous and come forward, why would she not be continuing the lawsuit? Why would she settle privately now? And then the people who are skeptical of Diddy are saying, well, it if Diddy didn't do it, why settle at all? But certainly you had an opportunity to settle beforehand, and now you didn't settle beforehand. Um, and now selling information is coming out. You settle. Is it because you're guilty? Is it because you no longer want people to know what you did? You've given up? Why not fight the lawsuit? So I want to dispel a couple of those myths and then have a more important, I think, analysis, not of their particular business, but of how we talk about these issues or how we think about these issues. First of all, people settle lawsuits for lots of reasons. People settle lawsuits because they're guilty. They settle lawsuits because they don't want the hassle. They settle lawsuits because so much mud will come out, so much truth about you will come out that even if you didn't do the thing that you're accused of doing, people will find out things about you that you might not want them to know. You might not want the world to know, and so as a result, you will simply settle the lawsuit to avoid the hassle. Some people settle because they don't want to lose. They say, look, the stakes are too high. If you sue me for a gajillion dollars and I can settle for a tenth of a gajillion dollars, I'll settle because I can't afford to lose the gajillion. These are all possibilities. By the way, hit the like button right now. Hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the like button if you want to go into a deeper analysis about this and what this says about race and gender, what this says about violence in this country, what it says about celebrity culture. And hit the like button. Let me know you want to talk about this. But also right now, hit that subscribe button, hit that join button, because we're here to talk about a variety of things, man, on this channel. And this is one of those things. And we can't do that without your support. So the first question that people ask, the thing that people keep coming back to is, why would she do this now? Why would she do this now? People say they met 19 years ago at this point, I believe. Cassie's 37. I think they met when she was 19. Why would she just be coming forward now? If her situation was so dire, if the abuse was so consistent, why would she wait so long to step forward? Well, here's why. First of all, they met when she was a teenager, a literal teenager, and he was a grown man. He was 37, she was 19. There's a huge age difference there. There's a huge maturity difference there. There's a huge power dynamic there. You're 19, your boss is 37, and you're in a relationship of some sort with this person. It's easy to understand why it might be difficult to exercise control. That's old enough to be your father, and not just like in the after school special way. Like you could be like you're a full grown person, and you could have I mean, you're 18, but you could have a full grown um, child at 37. That's Cassie's age. So it would make sense. I'm not saying who's right or wrong. I'm just saying it would make sense that there'd be a power dynamic. It would make sense that she'd be afraid. If you are in the type of relationship that she described, one that's filled with violence, and one that's filled with retribution, and one that's being controlled, and one that's being controlled by somebody with a lot of physical power, mental power, i.e., control, and you're famous and rich, and you got resources. You know, she telling stories about dating Kid Cudi and Kid Cudi's car blowing up after he threatened to blow up the car. This is all alleged. I don't know who did it. Kid Cudi says his car blew up. He didn't say who did it, but I'm just saying I could see how somebody would take a long time to come forward. I could see why somebody would take a long time to come out. People say, well, why would you not go to the police? Why would you go straight to the civil route? Why would you not get this person arrested or get this person charged? Why would you just go for their pocketbook? That's a question that people ask. Some people think that a person's decision to go civil versus criminal means that they're just money grubbers and that there's no merit to their case. But the truth is, people often make civil complaints for other reasons. Some people, particularly in these cases, don't want to see their loved one or the person they care about locked up. Sometimes they don't believe that the criminal legal system will actually lock a person up for this. We still live in a society that doesn't uh, really take rape seriously, that often doesn't take domestic abuse seriously. There's lots of reasons why somebody would potentially say, you know what, I don't trust this. Sometimes the person's idea of justice is different. As an abolitionist, I don't believe necessarily that prison is the answer to our problems. Sometimes there's other ways to make people whole. Maybe in her imagination, maybe in her mind, justice for Diddy is sullying his reputation so people understand that everything isn't what it seems on the surface. Maybe it's taking a large sum of money from somebody who values money a lot. There's lots of reasons why somebody might make that decision. And there's reasons why somebody might take 10 or 20 or 30 years. People say, well, she only did it after they broke up. Well, if you were in a relationship with somebody for a decade or two, however long it was, and now you have to go out into the world, even though you're not married, you have you have effectively a relationship like a marriage, almost like a common law marriage. What's my point? My point is, it's not uncommon to need or want money to sustain the lifestyle that you had previously. Now, I don't think people need to live a billionaire lifestyle, but there's a big gap between a lifestyle with Diddy and a lifestyle completely without him. So that could be another reason. I don't know her motivation. She says her full motivation. She says her motivation was partly to tell the truth and to get justice. I have no reason to think that that's not the case. She tried to settle this behind the scenes, and it didn't work. I guess they couldn't agree on the right dollar amount. And so people say, well, if she was seeking money, this is just revenge. And it's not necessarily revenge. It could be lots of things. I'm not saying revenge isn't part of it. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that we can't um, presume the worst of her because she filed a civil suit. That's all I'm saying. I see why she settled if he met the number that she was asking for. The question is, why would he settle? Now, some of y'all say, well, if he settled, he must have did it. Look, people, again, I'm going to say it like I said at the beginning, people settle cases that they're not guilty in simply because they don't want the hassle, they don't want the mud, they don't want the drama. But it is interesting. He could have settled it before it went public. So what happened between it not going public and it going public, between not settling the suit and settling the suit, that made him have a change of mind? It could be just the bad press, could be the bad news, could be the bad coverage, could be that more stuff is coming out. We don't know. But it doesn't look good. Again, I don't know his motivation, but it doesn't look good. What's the significant part for me? The significant part for me is the moment this case settled, I looked on Twitter and the most toxic, misogynistic comments immediately come out about Cassie. People say, I guess she got her bag now. I mean, it's a civil suit. Yeah, she got a bag. She got her money. That's what you're supposed to do when you sue somebody. But people are saying it as if she did something wrong for asking for the money. Or you have people who say, well, I think she's telling the truth, and I still don't have any sympathy for her. I'm pulling her up right now because I found this to be very telling and very disturbing. It was from an actress. Her name is Paula Jai Parker. And she says, and I'm quoting, and it's on her Twitter: as a sexual assault victim, one would think I get it, but I don't. I was a child looking for nothing from anyone. But y'all called us thirsty for protecting what's mine. But it ain't thirsty when you forget to protect your behind. So she's calling Cassie thirsty. Sometimes misogyny doesn't just come in male bodies. She said, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. I used to be 19 and I was in the industry and I was quite capable of saying no. Good for you. But some people can't say no. Or some people start in healthy relationships and relationships turn toxic. Some people don't have the power to leave. Do you know how many people say that they were in relationships for decades where they were tortured or abused or sexually assaulted or exploited? Do you know how many people are trafficked because they don't have the courage initially or the power or the ability initially to get out, and then they get so far in that they can't leave? This is not uncommon. So please, let's not demonize somebody. She said, I wish someone would have said that to the 3-year-old me that couldn't say no. But by 19, we're all strong enough to make choices that affect the rest of our lives. If you can't say no, you're not built for it. Take that midnight train now before you get yourself in trouble. So she's basically saying Cassie brought this on herself. If it, and she's saying she believes Cassie and still has no sympathy. How do we have no sympathy for somebody if we believe them? That's stunning to me. And the fact that it's coming from a woman is disappointing. But look, we all got our stuff. She said, I think y'all just don't like him. But he didn't invent the game, he just plays it. Hubby thinks I don't like her, but that's not true. I don't like chicks that take the easy route and get mad when it doesn't pan out. What is easy about, if she's telling the truth, then what's easy about 19 years or however long it was of abuse? What's easy about being tortured or having to hide for 3 weeks after being from the public and from the media because your body is disfigured after being attacked? Like, what's easy about being sexually assaulted or I mean, what's easy about being afraid to leave? There's nothing easy about that. She said, I'm trying so hard to see the victim here. Again, this is Paula Jai Parker talking about Cassie. But do sex slaves usually get to pick their sex partners in 5-star hotels? Just because you're in a 5-star hotel doesn't mean you're not a victim. Just because you're in a 5-star hotel or a mansion or on a yacht doesn't mean that you're not catching hell. Now, again, I'm not saying somebody did or didn't do anything. But do I personally believe Cassie? Yes, I absolutely believe Cassie. But I can't say that beyond a legal doubt. What I can say is whatever lifestyle she lived, whatever choices she made, it doesn't mean that um, she deserves anything negative that happens. And that's not just for her, that's for anybody. That's just not how we should be thinking about this thing. So no. No, she doesn't deserve it. But when I looked on Twitter, I'm going to move for a second, y'all. When I looked on Twitter, all I saw was people attempting to justify bad behavior. I'm seeing people, some very prominent names. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to make it about those people, and I don't want to get into a messy back and forth. That's not what I'm into. I'm not on Twitter for drama and all of that ridiculousness. I'm here simply to say, whew, some of y'all really hate women, and some of y'all really hate black women because y'all are literally defending Diddy, not because you don't believe her. If you say, look, I believe Diddy and don't believe her, at least I understand your logic. But some of y'all are saying, yeah, I think he did it, and I still think she shouldn't be suing. She shouldn't have done what she did. She shouldn't have sued, basically. Now a lot of people are supporting her, a lot of people are riding with her, but it's just fascinating. I'm seeing hashtags like bag secured, and they're not saying it in a nice way. People saying that she and her husband are somehow Cassie's current husband, or somehow, have some conspiracy against Diddy or some plot to just take his money or to extort him. Let me tell you, I know a lot about Diddy. Don't nobody extort him. He don't play that. This is a legal battle, and you can believe what you want, but nobody's being extorted. Here's what Cassie said. She said, I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. That's an interesting line. I want to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I think that's not just about the money. That's about the conditions that produce right now. Because see, if you're legitimately afraid of the person and their power, then putting a spotlight on them, talking about what they've done to you, talking about how they move, will make it a lot harder for them to get retribution now, because it'll be obvious. You can't just go out and blow somebody's car up. I'm not saying he did that. I'm just saying that's what was alleged. You can't just blow somebody's car up. You can't just beat somebody's up or beat somebody's husband up. You can't just, freeze them out of the business. There's a lot of things you can't do. There's a lot of things that you can't do if the world is watching. And part of what this did was make the world watch. So that could be another reason why she's settling. And Diddy says, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love. He kept it very simple. Very, very basic. Somebody said Cassie's not black. Is that correct? Forgive me if I thought she was. Cassie's not black? I gotta look that up, yo. Somebody said Cassie's not black. Really? What is she? He said, don't conflate the issue. Cassie, I mean, she looked black to me. Cassie Elizabeth Vince. What is she? What the hell is she? Yeah, she's a daughter of a mother of African American, Mexican, and West Indian descent, and a Filipino father. So her mom is black, and her dad is Filipino. If you got a black parent, you black, man. Yeah, y'all wilding with that shit, man. Let's move on. We don't gotta get into a debate about that. Cassie's lawyer said, I'm very proud of Ms. Ventura for having the strength to go public with her lawsuit. She ought to be commended for doing so. I do hope um, that you recognize that this is an act of strength. What Cassie did, whatever you think about her, it took strength and courage to go public like this, because you're not just implicating someone else, you're also talking about your own story, your own life. You're showing your own vulnerability. The world will never look at Cassie the same again either. And many people, as you see, will castigate her and criticize her and diss her and embarrass her. Um, and I don't want to split hairs again about her race. Although she's black, what I do want to do is point out the fact that women, and especially women of color, are often hated in these circumstances. So, yeah. Um, and in terms of what this means for Diddy, I don't know. I don't know if there's more stories. I don't know if there's more complaints. I don't know if there's more lawsuits coming. There are people on the internet who are who are involved in this case, who are saying that there's a bigger story, and that this might be the tip of an iceberg. I have no idea. What I do hope is that anybody who was harmed gets justice. I hope that all people feel better because of this outcome. Um, but y'all got to stop assuming that because this settled fast, that means that Cassie is a liar, and that women uh, who pursue civil suits against their people who abuse them are somehow being unethical or sleazy. Because that not only suggests that they don't deserve money, but it suggests that criminalization and prisons are the only way we can solve our problems. And there's lots of ways to solve and resolve issues outside of caging people. I'm not saying money's always the solution. There's lots of things that should be solutions, but that should be in the mix.